Chelsea fans have a new transfer story to worry about, and Manchester United supporters have one to get excited about. The latest reports say Cole Palmer is privately willing to join United, even though Chelsea have no intention of selling him. What makes this rumor so powerful is that Palmer is not just any squad player. He has become one of Chelsea's most important attackers, and the idea of him leaving for a direct Premier League rival instantly turns a normal transfer update into a major story. At the same time, Chelsea's position appears firm, with reporting saying they view him as effectively untouchable and that they are not open to a sale. Here is a full long-form script you can use for your video, written without headlines and without timestamps. Cole Palmer to Manchester United. Just hearing those words is enough to spark debate across the entire Premier League, because this is not the kind of transfer rumor that fades away quietly. This is the kind of story that hits every part of the football world at once, because it connects Chelsea, Manchester United, Palmer's boyhood links, and the endless tension that comes with a player who has already become a star in blue but may still have emotional ties elsewhere. And the reason this story has caught fire is simple. Palmer is not being described as a player who is unsettled in the usual sense. The latest report says Chelsea have no intention of selling him, which tells you everything you need to know about how highly they rate him. At the same time, the claim that he is privately willing to join Manchester United changes the tone completely, because it suggests that even if Chelsea are closed for business, the player may not be as locked in psychologically as the club would prefer. That is the kind of detail that transfer stories thrive on. A club can say one thing publicly, an agent can hint at another angle, and then one line of reporting can completely shift the discussion. In Palmer's case, the rumor is especially powerful because it involves a player whose rise has been so quick, so visible, and so central to Chelsea's identity that any suggestion of departure feels bigger than a normal summer saga. To understand why this story matters so much, you have to start with Palmer himself. Since moving to Chelsea, he has gone from being a talented young attacker to someone the club depends on in the biggest moments. He is the sort of player who changes the rhythm of the team, changes the confidence of the crowd, and changes the way opponents prepare for Chelsea. When a player reaches that level of influence, the idea of losing him becomes not just a football decision but a statement about where the club is heading. That is why Chelsea's reported stance is so important. The club are not behaving like a side looking to cash in or rebuild around a sale. Instead, the picture being painted is that they see him as a cornerstone, and the earlier reporting around his future described Chelsea as viewing him as untouchable amid talk of United interest. In other words, this is not a case of a club quietly shopping a player around. This is a case of a club trying to shut the door before it even opens. Still, the story refuses to go away because Manchester United are Manchester United. Anytime a player of Palmer's profile is linked with Old Trafford, the rumor becomes a national conversation. United are still a club that can pull attention simply because of history, scale, and the constant sense that one big addition can shift the mood around the whole project. So when reporting says Palmer could be open to the move in private, the reaction is immediate, even if the practical side of the deal looks almost impossible. And practically, it is hard to imagine this being a simple transfer. Palmer is under long-term contract, and the reporting around this rumor points to a player Chelsea would not want to lose under any normal circumstances. That means any discussion would likely begin at a level that makes the move feel more like a fantasy than a realistic negotiation. In modern football, that does not kill a rumor. Sometimes it makes it louder, because huge fees only increase the drama. There is also the emotional layer, and that is what makes this rumor feel different from standard transfer noise. Palmer is a Manchester boy, and stories like this gain momentum when they involve a player returning to the city where his football identity first took shape. Those details matter, even when clubs insist the player is happy where he is. Fans know that football is not only about contracts and tactics. It is also about belonging, memory, identity, and the strange pull of a club that a player may have grown up watching. That said, Chelsea are not behaving like a club preparing for a heartbreak. The strongest counterpoint in the reporting is that they have no intention of selling him. That means any United move would have to overcome not only the financial obstacle, but the sporting one as well. Chelsea would have to decide that no amount of money, pressure or persuasion is enough to justify losing one of their best attackers, and based on the current reports, they are nowhere near that point. This is also why the story should be read carefully. Transfer rumors often combine real information, half-truths, and emotional speculation into one irresistible package. The line that Palmer is privately willing to move is the kind of phrase that creates headlines because it is impossible for fans to verify and impossible for clubs to fully control. It keeps everyone talking without actually proving that a deal is close. If you are looking at this from Chelsea's point of view, the message is obvious. Protect the asset, deny the noise, and move on. They know exactly what Palmer gives them. He offers goals, creativity, calm in tight spaces, and the kind of attacking reliability that is rare in a player of his age and profile. Losing that to a rival like United would not just weaken the squad, it would create a narrative Chelsea would have to fight all summer. From United's side, the story is just as easy to understand. If there is even a small chance that a top-level attacker with Premier League pedigree could be persuaded, then a club of that size is always going to be mentioned. United remain in that zone where every elite creative player becomes a possible solution to their attacking needs. So even when the deal looks unrealistic, the rumor itself makes sense because the club's name naturally enters every elite transfer conversation. And yet the broader reality is that there is a huge gap between rumor and movement. Right now, the public information suggests Chelsea are standing firm, while the stronger emotional rumor suggests Palmer may not be completely closed to the idea of United. That is enough to fuel debate, enough to drive clicks, and enough to keep fans arguing for days, but it is not the same as a completed transfer or even a serious negotiation. In fact, the entire story may be more useful as a reflection of Palmer's status than as a prediction of his future. When a player is linked with a move like this, it usually means he has reached the level where every decision around him becomes major news. That is a compliment as much as it is a rumor. It says Palmer is no longer viewed as just a good signing. He is viewed as one of the defining attacking talents in the league. The reason the rumor lands so well online is that it contains contradiction. Chelsea do not want to sell him. Palmer is reportedly open to the possibility of United. The contract situation makes things difficult. The player's value makes any move massive. Every part of the story pulls in a different direction, and that creates the perfect environment for speculation. There is also a psychological angle here. Sometimes reports like this do not mean a move is close, but they do mean one side is trying to create pressure or shape the narrative. Whether that pressure comes from outside Chelsea, from United, or simply from the transfer ecosystem itself, the effect is the same. Palmer's future becomes a talking point, and once that happens, it becomes much harder to stop the discussion from growing. For Chelsea supporters, the instinctive reaction is probably frustration. They have already seen enough talent leave or be linked away to know how quickly things can spiral. So even a rumor that Chelsea are confident could still sting, because no club wants to imagine one of its key figures being tempted by a rival. The concern is not just about losing a player, but about what that would say about Chelsea's project if a star attacker could be pulled away. For United supporters, the reaction is the opposite. Even if they know the deal is unlikely, the mere fact that Palmer's name is being associated with Old Trafford gives them hope. That is what makes rumors around elite English players so powerful. They do not need to be likely to be emotionally effective. They only need to sound plausible enough to imagine for a few moments, and the football internet does the rest. Now, the most important thing to say is this. At this stage, there is no confirmation that a transfer is happening. The latest reporting says Chelsea have no intention of selling, and the rest of the talk should be treated as rumor until something materially changes. But as a story, it already has everything it needs. A superstar player, 2 giant clubs, a hidden emotional connection, and a rivalry that instantly makes the whole thing feel bigger than normal. That is why this rumor will not disappear quickly. Even if nothing happens now, it has already entered the category of stories that can resurface again and again every time the market opens, every time a new report appears, or every time Palmer has another huge performance. The moment a player reaches this level, transfer talk stops being a one-off and becomes part of his football identity. So when people ask whether this is realistic, the honest answer is that Chelsea's position makes it extremely difficult, but not impossible to discuss. The club are said to be unwilling to sell, and that remains the strongest fact in the whole story. Everything else sits behind that one point. But the rumor lives because football is not only about what clubs want. It is also about what players think, what agents hint, what reports suggest, and what fans are desperate to believe. And that is where this Palmer story sits right now. Chelsea want him. United are being linked with him. The player is said to be privately open to the idea. The contract is long. The price would be huge. The noise is loud. And the truth is still somewhere behind all of it. At the moment, the safest reading is that Chelsea are in control and have no intention of letting this become a real deal. But in football, control and certainty are never the same thing. As long as Palmer keeps being mentioned in connection with Manchester United, this rumor will keep finding new life, because it touches every ingredient that makes a transfer story explode: ambition, rivalry, money, identity, and timing.